Creating the perfect stripe pattern on a cake isn't always easy, but with these simple steps, you can get the perfect stripes each and every time using fondant ribbons instead of actual ribbon or a stencil, and you'll have absolutely perfect straight lines. It does require a little bit of math, but check out this short video, and in no time, you'll have perfect pinstripes of any size for your perfect cake project. So in order to get these lines perfectly straight and to get them even, what I did was I measured the height of my cake, and then I knew I wanted 4 stripes, 3 spaces, so therefore 7 stripes in total. So divided my total height by 7, and then measured out the stripe size required. So in this case, I believe it was like 2/3 of an inch. Now I'm rolling out my black fondant, rolling it fairly thin. I'm using my amazing PME stripe cutter. I've had this for years. I have 2 of them because I love it so much. I used to have 3, but I broke it. So when I broke that one, I bought 2 more. It's amazing. It's way better than the Wilton one. It doesn't come apart. It doesn't wobble. Your lines are always super straight. And regardless whether I actually cut them straight down the fondant or not, they do turn out straight, and I can easily manipulate them back into straight lines. So after I took my cardstock, which is what I measured out and cut, I taped those 3 pieces together to give me enough to go around the circumference of my cake. Obviously, if my cake was bigger, I'd probably need more than 3. But 3 is enough. You can use craft foam for this as well because it is a little bit thicker. What this is a guide to help you get your fondant ribbons on here straight and keep that space even all the way around. So the thicker material you use to make that space, the easier it will be to set your fondant on it as you go around. So taking my cake upside down at this point, because I want my top stripe to be right along the top edge of my cake, add a tiny bit of water to ensure that my fondant sticks to my fondant. Taking my rolled up pieces of fondant, I'm going to start unrolling all the way around. Because I panel, I'm going to go close to the seam in the back so I can keep all of my seams together. And just gently unroll it all the way around, and then cutting when you come to the end again. So for my next piece, I'm taking that piece of paper strip that I made, I'm placing it directly touching my bottom stripe using a sewing pin or a quilting pin. I use the quilting pins because they usually have a little thing on the top of them so that if they get lost, I know it's not in a cake somewhere, it's a yellow piece that I'll be able to easily find. Then using that piece of paper as a guide, I'm going to unroll another one of my black strips right along the top edge of that paper. So now I'm ensuring a perfectly straight line and even space all the way around the cake. Again, same process, starting in the back where the seam is and rolling all the way around. If you need to readjust or anything, do this now while it's still somewhat wet and not super sticky and tacky. You don't want to stretch out your line or your fondant either so that your strip itself isn't perfectly straight the whole way around. Then moving the paper strip up one more row so that I again ensure even spacing, tacking it together with the same pin and adding a bit of water. So the process is the same the whole way across. The whole point here is that that guide moves with you. And it's there just to ensure that I'm not trying to do it by eye, I'm not trying to do it by, oh, it looks like it's right. I'm doing it exactly because my spacing is done right and I made this paper guide. It took me you'll see a quick bit of it at the beginning. I thought I recorded more of it, but clearly I didn't. Technology is great when it works. But I cut out 3 strips and then I taped them all together to give me one long strip. So for my bottom piece, because it's the bottom of the cake and I want it to meet the bottom of the board, I flipped my cake back over and I'm placing this strip directly based upon the bottom of the cake and the board. And then as you can see here, all of the stripes are much more perfectly even all the way around than if I were to try to do this by eye.